I got this idea to tell you that you need to do your research. And if you're dating a black man, it is your responsibility to understand the history and the trauma of slavery.
And you as a black man, what?
You're literally telling me that you had a class that was dedicated to black men, where black women have an opportunity to study their men, understand what they're going through, understand how to relate to them better. And instead of us doing that, you have other women of other ethnic groups, other races going in, taking note, using that as ammo to get the quote unquote best men out there. Yeah. So it's like, how can you compete with that? This is based upon what you just said. It's like, this is why they are winning our men. If there's one live I heard you say, one of your initial classes, one of the first classes you had, you noticed that it was predominantly non-black women who were going in there studying black men.
I started teaching a black male course because it was needed. You know, I'm looking at these young brothers who were getting accepted, and a lot of them were, you know, dropping out. A lot of them really didn't have any support structure on how to navigate college. So I created this class alongside a student group for black males and began to implement that. And early on, what I found was I had more black women than men, which, you know, numerically is no surprise. That tends to be the case anyway, as far as the enrollment in school. My initial training in my doctorate was as a feminist. I hadn't dealt with gender prior to my doctorate. So I came in with that framework. The only way I knew how to deal with gender was through kind of what she taught me. So I'm teaching this black male class using this approach I got in grad school, and I'm watching the numbers of black males dwindle. I'm seeing the black males in my class looking at the ground, just kind of disconnected. And I'm seeing the women more and more excited. And what I realized was that it was becoming a class where the young ladies were using me to finger wag at the men. So when I started to actually ask the men what their perspectives were, and I started to kind of change the narrative, and after a couple of years, I noticed the number of black women dropped dramatically. The number of black males started to increase. Within the next couple of years after that, I noticed I started to get this population of white women.
Yeah.
I don't know why they were there. And when I began to kind of ask them, you know, in the hallways, under the, you know, why are you taking this class? And I started to find, oh well, my boyfriend is, and I want to understand him and his family, or, you know, I'm trying to date some of the men on the basketball team or football team or whatever, but I don't understand them. So they were doing research. They're getting A's. It's a weird thing where I got to give A+ to white women in a class on black males because they are handling all the homework assignments and reading everything to a T. They're asking me about the citations that were made by the author. I'm like, good Lord. But they were serious. And I would say, you know, another 3 or 4 years after that, I noticed the population shifted from, you know, white women to Latina. And the Latinas were coming in with the same kind of intensity, the same kind of questions, the same motivation.
You're literally telling me that you had a class that was dedicated to black men, where black women have an opportunity to study their men, understand what they're going through, understand how to relate to them better. And instead of us doing that, you have other women of other ethnic groups, other races going in, taking note, using that as ammo to get the quote unquote best men out there. Yeah. So it's like, how can you compete with that? This is based upon what you just said. It's like, this is why they are winning our men. If that is such a big complaint, this is why these other women, white women, Latinas, Asians, this is why they are winning or stealing, however you want to put it, our men, because they're actually interested in their interests.
Now, this is a very powerful video, if you will, because we cover so many of these videos where we talk about, or at least black women say how all the white women are taking the black men and black men only want white women. And it's because I have to wear wigs to compete with white women, and black men like women with straight hair, so I have to wear a wig, so on and so forth. But you notice how he taught, and I don't know the brother's name, and shout out to this sister here. Was it Shay Sharday? Shez Sharday? I don't know. Is it Shay Sharday? Shez? Some of you guys can correct me. I already know you're going to do that. Shout out to her for having this brother on here. I don't know his name. I'm assuming he's a doctor based off what he's saying. But you notice how he talked when he initially started the class. He said there was a high enrollment of sisters, which we understand when we always toot this, black women are the most educated, and really when it comes down to it, they're the most enrolled, which is what he was getting at. But he said that this was like a black male bashing course, which a lot of educated black women and women from the LGBTQ community tend to do. They bash black men. And he said he decided to switch up his curriculum, and then the black women started showing less interested in it, and the bros obviously weren't too interested in it either. So he noticed the demographic change to the white woman and Latina woman or Hispanic woman. And when he actually pulled them to the side and said, what's up? Women who know, what's the whole thing? Learning your man. Or is it Betty Wright? I can't remember. You guys always correct me. You should be learning your man at the end of the day. If you're looking for someone that you want to be your sustainer, sustain the family, your protector, provider, and things like that, you should want to know their likes. You should not automatically assume, which is what a lot of black women assume, what a black man wants, i.e. they wear the weaves, wigs, and BBLs, and it's what other women want, so you should date other women if that's the case, instead of listening to what the black man wants. So these white women and these other women are making an effort. I know that there were women, there was a Latin woman, she called into Kevin's show, and she said she loved black men. She said she cooks, she cleans, he just becomes this masculine protector and provider for her. She doesn't argue with him. She just exudes nothing but femininity. She's not trying to start an argument, and everything just works out well. But when you have this chip on your shoulder that I'm just going to use his seed and kick him to the curb, and I already expect him not to be ish, then there's going to be some issues. Or you already go into a relationship with a man knowing that there's some red flags, knowing he has multiple baby mamas, knowing he doesn't have a job, knowing he has a drug addiction, and then you turn around and complain and put black men all under the same blanket, if you will, and want it to stick. And that's not really how things work. But this is one of those things that are rarely talked about. It's always, he just wants a lighter skinned woman, or he just wants a woman with straight hair, or these women let these guys walk all over them. That's why. Not so, baby. Not so. Not so. And then women will say they're stealing and they have an attitude. Men don't want to deal with attitude. Men don't want to argue. Masculine men don't want to argue. If you spend time figuring out what a man likes, these are the most successful women. That's why women who sell buns for a living are so good with men and have men keep coming back. Because they've realized that. They realize what this man likes. If you really know a woman, you would know what a woman likes. If you're good with women, you know what a woman likes. You know how to make love to a woman. You know the simple things, the non-sexual attention that you can give a woman without even touching her, how you can trigger certain spots on her. That's what's important. These are the men who are the best with women. They realize those things, how to pull women. But some women just find it too much of a challenge, and they always say that's too much like slavery. I'm not about to do all that. I'm not about to look like a fool. I'm not about to give him my all for him to turn around and leave me for another woman. This is the same thing that's preached in these groups among women, especially these strong, independent, black, educated women who feel like they don't need a man. Meanwhile, the other women are like, no other culture, no other race, if you will. It's just like, I don't need a man. But just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think? Comment below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Much blessings and abundance. Stick around for the next video that's going to pop up on the screen below. That's where I'm going to see you guys at. It's your favorite everything. This is Wisdom. I'm out of here. Peace.